If you're the type of person who thinks budgeting sounds like a dull way to pass the time, a list of line items on a sheet, numbers next to categories over more numbers next to more categories, you're not alone. But maybe there's a different way to look at building a budget. What if it's not about the numbers? What if it's about getting everything you want out of life? About seeing all your options laid out before you, so you can focus on the ones that matter most? Are you looking forward to decorating your new apartment? Or buying yourself that new car? Or kicking off your own startup right out of high school? All those things get a lot more real when you see them laid out clearly in a budget. So budgeting isn't just about the numbers. It's about wish fulfillment. It's about drawing a roadmap from where you are, straight to the things you want. At its most basic level, a budget is just a measure of the money coming in and the money going out, income and expenses. Income can come from a variety of sources. Some of these will be available to you and some not. The most obvious source of income is a job. But even jobs have different ways of providing income. You can be salaried, paid on commission, or have it supplemented with tips. There's also income from unearned sources, things like investment proceeds, royalties, Social Security, pensions, child support, inheritances, gifts, and plenty of others. And don't forget, most income is taxable. The amount you actually have to spend after taxes is called net income. Once you have a clear idea of where your income is coming from and how much you'll be getting, it's time to start planning what your expenses are going to look like. Expenses come in different shapes and sizes. There are some things you can't live without, like a roof over your head, food, a phone. And there are things you don't want to live without, your computer, the internet, a car. Depending on what you do for income, some of those wants may actually be needs. A rideshare driver needs a car, and a web designer needs the internet. And then there are other things that you want but could do without, a streaming subscription or your daily purchase from that smoothie bar. Everything you spend money on, even things you buy with pocket change, should be separated into one of these groups. The next step is to identify what variety of expenses those are, fixed or variable. Fixed expenses are regular, and their amounts don't change. Things like rent, car payments, insurance, and subscriptions are usually paid on a regular schedule and at a consistent rate. Variable expenses can be regular payments at inconsistent amounts, or irregular payments for consistent amounts, or irregular payments at inconsistent amounts. Utility bills, groceries, fuel, clothing, entertainment, haircuts, and emergency costs are all types of variable expenses. So now your expenses are split between your necessities and non-necessities, and fixed and variable. Now all that's left to do is line these up and see what you've got. That's right, it's time for that list of line items and categories we talked about at the beginning. Except this time, they're not just words and numbers. They're your plans and goals expressed as a financial roadmap. You want to live and work in that bustling metropolis. You want your own place. You want to be able to work from a home studio as vlogger/influencer. These are all realizable goals, made more real by budgeting out the things you need to make them happen. While you're doing this, there are a few more things you'll want to pay attention to. 1. Different places cost different amounts to live in. These differences are measured in something called a cost of living index, which rates the affordability of different places. Where you live affects your budget. 2. Credit cards and debt. Credit cards can make you feel like you have more money to spend than you do. Don't fall into this trap where you could quickly find yourself in debt, owing more money than you can afford to pay back. A credit card should only ever be a short-term loan. 3. Savings. This is a big one. This is the pay-it-forward part of your budget. It's your investment in the next stage of your ambitions, whether that's buying a house or swimming with sharks. But how much of your income should you budget for savings? The 50-30-20 budget is a popular savings formula that makes it easy to understand how to prioritize your funds. The formula is simple. 50% of your income goes to necessities, 30% to non-necessities, and 20% to savings. Every paycheck, all year round. Whether something like savings is a necessity or not is really up to you. But it's fair to say no one ever regretted having a little extra put away for an emergency or just to splash out on something special.